A bunch of people have told me there's been no good music since the 1970s. But there was so much good music this year that we were challenged to keep it all in a video under 20 minutes. Now hang on to your hats and glasses because André, Cedric, Coulter, and I are going to share our favorite music from 2021. I'll kick it off with my top 5. Now at number 5, we have Bleed the Future by Arch Spire. This album is just stunning. I don't feature much metal on the channel, but this album is a full-on assault. I haven't felt wowed by a metal album since Car Bomb came out with their album Meta. It's really an incredible feat, and I encourage any metalhead to check it out. On the total opposite end of the spectrum is my number 4 favorite, Outland by Ian Boddy and Marcus Reuter. This album was my go-to for daily work throughout the whole year. I used to listen very, very regularly to Steve Reich's music for 18 musicians while working, but I've given that a break since Outland came out. It's so beautiful and a total escape from everyday life. You can pay close attention to it or put it on in the background and it just washes away. Either way, it enriches my day whenever I put it on. Now heading in a more melodic direction, we have my number 3, Xenolalia by Moulettes. Picture Frame Part 1 Electric is by far my number 1 most listened to song this year according to Spotify. The whole Xenolalia collection is so musical, adventurous, and full of wonder, and the collection of songs is part of a larger mega project consisting of 55 pieces of music for 5 ensembles. You should check out the whole Moulettes catalog on Bandcamp, but this Xenolalia collection is something special. In a more weird, yet still melodic direction is my number 2 of 2021, Prayers of the Rosary by Medieval Babes. This one features unbelievable levels of creativity. Check out our interview with Catherine Blake, the creative genius behind the group, and contributors Charlie Kaywood and Michael York. And wait until you hear the new music Catherine and Michael are soon releasing. It is incredible. We'll do a live stream interview with them in January 2022. I do have some honorable mentions before number 1, Two Roses by Avishai Cohen, Daddy's Home by St. Vincent, Floor by Gretchen Parlato, and Notes with Attachments by Pino Palladino and Blake Mills. All right, my number 1 favorite of 2021 is Bluegrass Heart by Bela Fleck. This album is just the best. It has it all: beauty, complexity, virtuosity, fun arrangements, collaborations. Without a doubt, my number 1. Now, I usually reserve jaw-dropper status for albums that sit with me for a few years, but this album just hit me the day it was released, and I have loved it more ever since it came out. So check out my jaw-dropper video about this album.
First up for me is Android Trio's Other Worlds, released October 22nd. Something that all of my entries seem to have in common is that they cross genre lines while also remaining a satisfying listening experience for fans of the individual genres involved. So if you love prog, this record has you covered. If you love jazz rock, same. There's guitar weirdness, synth excursions, twisty mallet percussion, some frippery, some heavy metal bebop in there. All itches will be scratched with this one. Next up is Skay's Insolubilia, released July 11th. I think this came to me by way of a Bandcamp Friday recommendation from someone on the Make Word Music Facebook page. I listen to a lot of recommendations and submissions here at Make Word Music, and a ton of it is good stuff, but very few things are 5-star great. Insolubilia is one of those. It continually presents new and interesting ideas that are cohesive to a compositional whole. Sections will build and develop, but they never jump up and say, "Look at me and dig my statistical density." It's just good, solid, somewhat old-school instrumental prog. Next up is McStein and Miniman 2. I'm glad that Anthony put the cutoff line for these submissions at December 1st, 2020, because this album was released on December 1st, 2020. Of course, here we have Marco, the hardest working drummer on the scene, and Randy, the Swiss Army knife of progressive music on guitar and bass and vocals. It's kind of not fair how good these guys are. It would be so easy to hate them, but they give you zero reason to. They don't overplay, nothing's quite predictable, and everything they do in this record manages to strike a balance between melodic songwriting and musically satisfying instrumental passages. And then we have Lyle Workman's Uncommon Measures, released on February 19th. What can I say about Lyle? He covers all the bases for me. He's worked with Jellyfish, Beck, and Sting. He's done film scores, he's played with funk legends, and made some terrific solo records, but Uncommon Measures is an epic masterpiece. Plenty of guitar wizards have done orchestral albums, but this one feels more coherent somehow. It's proggy, it's jazzy, it's fusiony, it's Zappa-ish. There's something there for everyone. And my number one this year, Bombastedio's Agua EP. It was released on February 2nd. Colombia's best export since coffee is a band called Bombastedio, a duo composed of vocalist Liliana Summit and producer Simon Mejia. They are the ultimate pop fusion band, just a killer mix of rock, hip-hop, EDM, traditional Colombian and Latin styles. The Agua EP consists of 3 songs, Agua, Deja, and Soledad, from their forthcoming full-length album due this February called Deja. And I've been obsessed for months with the guitar riff from Deja. It really grabs the ear with some unexpected twists and turns, delivered in a clean, vaguely West African style and tone. Even my kids can't get enough of these tunes. I beg everyone to listen to it and see what you think. It doesn't even matter that the lyrics are in Spanish because everything is so melodic and layered and clever. Also check out their YouTube channel for the amazingly gorgeous video for Agua. Both Liliana and Simone are now in their 40s and making some of their best music of their careers, something that rarely seems to be allowed to happen anymore in music from the U.S.
Hi, André Chumley here with Make Weird Music. 5 releases that impacted me in 2021. First up is Bent Knee with Frosting. Love this band. This one's been on repeat play around here. I like surprises, and wow, this really was a surprising record. Right out of the box, a big sound and treated vocals, vocoder vocals. This record has a bunch of new sounds for the band, a lot of bizarre loops and electronic triggers and all kinds of cool stuff. At the heart of it, though, really great songs, which is fantastic, and Courtney's voice is fantastic. Jessica's voice is fantastic. She's singing a bunch of the material, so check this one out. More Mother with Black Encyclopedia of the Air. More Mother's been one of my favorites in the new, strange, edgy, experimental world of, what do you call it? Trip-hop, hip-hop, experimental hip-hop, whatever it is. If you like MF Doom and Flying Lotus and Dead Prez, you'll probably dig More Mother. This record has a bunch of guests on it, but at its heart is her brilliant take on reality. New jazz soundscapes. There's some cough syrup, dense, bizarre background rhythms happening. It's just a really great record. Very conscious, a lot of political discourse a la Angela Davis or Gil Scott-Heron, and just really deep listening. This next one is from an artist who was in a band that did a lot of weird music in the 70s and had hits. 10cc, if you don't know them, go check them out, especially the first 4 records that featured Kevin Godley and Lol Cream. Cream and Godley left after those 4 records and did a bunch of really amazing, seminal, weird albums. This recent offering from Godley is a fun, modern, multi-dimensional take on the sound he helped create, really, with Brian Eno, Sparks, Roxy Music, and other English weirdos. Really a great record, and great to see someone in that generation still doing fresh, new, weird stuff. Moses Sumney, live from Blackalatia. Any artist that you need a thesaurus to describe is usually doing something interesting. This record and all of his work starts with his incredible voice. Wow, operatic range. His strange imaginary music landscape borders somewhere on ambient futuristic pop, acid chill funk, and Afrofuturistic identity morphing progressive love songs. I don't know. Labels are nonsensical sometimes, but it gives you some kind of an idea of how elusive it is to describe this young man's music. Check it out. He's got a band on here. There's guitars, violins. There's a horn section on some of it. Industrial synths, a pretty amazing and original landscape. Rounding out my 5 releases that impacted me in 2021 is the recent one by Flying Lotus. This one, Yosake, is very interesting. It's his soundtrack music from the groundbreaking and breathtaking anime series on Netflix of the same name. It's almost all instrumental, and it ranges from beautiful otherworldly ambient soundscapes to very weird glitchy rhythms, trip-hop beats, and even a quote of a weird music gateway drug track from Pink Floyd. So look out, see if you can find that. It's a remarkable release, and hopefully this film introduces a lot of people to his music and vice versa. Thank you so much. A couple of my honorable mentions would be the new record from Crumb, Presence Live, and also Black Midi's Cavalcade record. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for more weird music.
All right, tell me, what's your problem with top 5 lists?
Entirely too subjective, because saying that these are the top 5 records I've heard this year, A, implies that I've heard everything that I could have possibly heard this year, which is not even remotely close to the truth, and also just purely subjective. And for every 5 I named, there's 5 more that pop into my head. I mean, I rattled off 5, and now, oh no, I need to replace it with this one. I need to replace it with that one. So, yeah, it's just, I would prefer to think of the stuff that just caught my ear in 2021. I call them ear catchers, and that's what I'm running with. These are my ear catchers. These are 5 ear catchers from last year. And for those of you who would like to see a full list where I rattled off about 25 of them, you can go to my webpage, CEDRIC'S.com, and you can check them out there.
All right, so what'd you call them? Attention getters?
Ear catchers.
Ear catchers.
Yes, it's like someone being eye-catching, only it's ear-catching. You can hear it.
Okay, almost.
Quite.
I guess it's less creepy than being eye-catching.
Guaranteed not to get a restraining order issued to you. I promise you. This is just stuff that has come by and caught me and held on. More than anything else. Because
Good.
You can hear a lot of stuff and it'll come in and rattle around for a while and hop out. But these have held their ground, as it were.
All right, what's number 5? We'll start at the top.
Well, first of all, there's no particular order. That's your other
Oh,
problem.
knock it off.
I'm just saying. It all goes back to that subjectivity. So the first one that I actually wrote down was Dave Holland's new album called Another Land, his jazz trio with Kevin Eubanks, who you might remember from The Tonight Show on guitar, and a gentleman by the name of Obed I'm going to mispronounce it, Obed Calvaire as his drummer. And they are the modern jazz trio personified. This is why Dave Holland is a legend, because these guys smolder through 4 sides of vinyl. It never gets out of control, but it's just beautifully played, and you're at home about to lose control, but the band never fully lets it get out of hand, but they're definitely tearing stuff up in their own subtle ways. Just fantastic listening, and it's worthy of multiple listens on day one, let alone over the course of a year.
Right on. All right, the next one.
Hedvig Molstad Trio specifically, and an album called Ding Dong, You're Dead, which caught my attention right off the bat. I am late to Hedvig's party. She's an amazing player, and I'm going to accuse her of playing a Stratocaster because that's the sound I hear, the Strat on a neck pickup. But she's taking it through fusion paces unlike few others are willing to do, because she'll bounce into all kinds of different areas. I hear King Crimson, I hear ambient stuff, I hear jazz, I hear all kinds of things wrapped up nicely into a 47-minute package. Again, something you have to hear over and over to fully appreciate.
Cool. All right, what's the next one?
Kick the Cat, Chicago band, and their album called Gurgle. They are best known for two of their best known players, and I'm going to say it's probably argumentative, but Chris Sebold, who plays in the Chicago Zappa ensemble here, is just an absolutely amazing player. In fact, you'll be seeing an interview from the two of us via Make Weird Music in the very near future. Amazing player, idolizes Frank Zappa, Alan Holdsworth, and countless others. And Chris Myers, who plays drums in Humphreys McGee. This band is yet another great edition of modern fusion. You can hear Brand X, you can hear Bruford, you can hear Zappa, but it's not derivative. It's them. It's them incorporating those sounds into their own compositions, which are complex yet lightweight. They are dangerous yet incredibly fun. This is probably the most fun record I have on this particular list.
And trivia for the viewer. Sed and I got to go see Chris Sebold and his Zappa ensemble play Hot Rats in its entirety, and I walked in just believing, it's going to be a local cover band. They'll do a pretty good job. It'll be a best effort kind of thing. And instead, throughout the show, it was What? Who
See,
are
and-
these people?
Meanwhile, I'm sitting across from you, dripping and sipping from a tall glass. If I told you so.
Yeah.
because I knew how good they were. But
Well, everyone tells me, "Oh, you got to see this band." I mean, I get emails like that every week.
sure.
Yeah.
I understand. But
And
you know,
they're not all from you for sure, but you just never know.
Yeah.
And they are the real deal. Chris
They are.
Siebold, man,
They are.
amazing.
they
All
are.
right, I couldn't even figure out how to pronounce this one, so I'll just leave it all to you.
Oh, I was going to save that for last, but we'll do it now. Kuik is how it's pronounced, and it basically, the album is called Wooch. The concept is the indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest, specifically in the Tikrit realm. I'm not even going to go down a particular path, but the word means Wooch means together in Tikrit, and Woo is also the way you primarily identify Bernie Worrell, who was a member of this band. He was a co-founder of Kuik. This was one of his very last projects. In fact, he passed away 3 months after they started making this record. So you've got the poetry and spoken word and rhythms of the indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest going with R&B, funk, soul, and a little jazz. It's a remarkable stew. It's not a soup because it doesn't blend. You can see all the individual ingredients there, and it's as brilliant a parting statement as you're ever going to hear where Bernie Worrell is concerned. His playing is soulful, and it's creative, and it's humorous, and it's improvisational, and it's on the money, just right down the middle. Fantastic record. It brings tears to my eyes just thinking about it, and it's going to be a great way to close out my Bernie Worrell book.
Right on. And this last one is from the most absurd band name I've seen in a
The
long
world
time.
is a beautiful place, and I am no longer afraid to die, which actually is a very nice declaration when you think about it, especially when it comes to music. Now, I don't know if there is such a thing as a progressive indie band, but there they are, because this is indie rock among a bunch of other things. Well, I call it indie rock. The album is called Illusory Walls. Sorry, it's called Illusory Walls. It's a fantastic album. How do you describe it? Like I said, it's indie rock, but it's got progressive rock tendencies, because how many indie bands put out 14, 15, 17-minute songs? And this band does it a couple of times, but they have the lo-fi homage of indie rock with the more aspirational aspects of prog and everything connected to it. So it's a beautiful mix. The vocals are interesting. It's a nice little male-female combination. The guitars growl as well as they play beautifully, nice and clean. The bass drive is unbelievable. The rhythms are fantastic. The interplay between the rhythm section, between the bassist and the drummer, is fantastic. This is one of those records I wasn't looking for, and in fact, I knew next to nothing about them until I decided to go see them. More specifically, I decided to go see Bent Knee, who were opening for this particular band, along with another group called Gates, and I was absolutely blown away by Illusory Walls before I even got to the gig, and now they are just one of my favorite things in the world. Buy it, buy it, buy it. It's on Bandcamp. Buy it, buy it, buy it. And for that matter, so is Kick the Cat, so is Kuik, and I'm not sure about the other two, but you can find them through their individual websites. But yeah, those are the five that have stuck out. And if I can sneak one more little thing in, because I'm a rebel and rock and roll is all about rebellion, one of my other favorite musical moments of the year is not an album, it's video. It's Questlove, Amir Questlove Thompson's Summer of Soul documentary, which is about the music festival thrown in Harlem in August of '69, 100 miles away from where Woodstock was put on, just a couple of weeks later. And nobody knew about this gig outside of the people who were there. The music was beautifully recorded, both video and audio. It was stored away, and it vanished for the better part of 50 years. And now it has come out, and it is a who's who of soul, R&B, jazz, gospel. It's absolutely brilliant. It's on Hulu last I heard, and it's well worth your time. And the soundtrack album will be out next month, and I'm hoping the video will be out after that, because that's a Blu-ray I intend to wear out. But Summer of Soul, it's got to be part of your world.
All right, Mr. Rebel, that's enough.
I warned you.
Now, a lot of the music we've discussed in this video is available on Bandcamp. And Bandcamp even has their own Best of 2021 lists on their site, so be sure to check those out. And thank you to the Make Weird Music team for their most excellent picks. Please leave your 2021 favorites in the comments. We love to hear from the community. And if there's anything coming in 2022 that you're looking forward to, leave a comment so we can keep an eye out for it. All right, that's it for this year. Thanks so much for everything you did with and for us in 2021, and we'll see you next year.